Hello everyone, Craig here. I'm having a look now at video preview of Tembo the Badass Elephant. Now, this is made by Sega and the team at Game Freaks, and it's quite interesting that it follows the platforming aspect of games now, and the popularity that Rayman Legends and other titles that you're going to see all the time. Now, at first glances of playing, you get through a tutorial first that teaches you the basics of the game, and it's pretty simple to pick up, to be honest. Only in the heat of the action can you get muddled up and forget what you need to do, but the first part of the game really does teach you on what you need to do in terms of movement, which isn't no bad thing. Again, you've got your detail at the top left, your health bar. Of course, you're an elephant and you're going to want to put fires out. You use your trunk, which makes it dead simple. And then you've got your health bar, and you've got your little peanut butter jars, which indicates your lives you've got left. So it's not the hardest game to get into. In fact, it's one of the easiest, but it does get tricky as you further get into the game. And of the chapters and zones that I'm allowed to show you, I'm only allowed to show you the first two. There's 5 acts in each zone. There's 3 big zones to feature a boss battle at the end of each one. Now, there's things that will get in your way. You've got boxes that you've got peanuts in to fill your jar up, and you get to 250, you get an extra life. You've got the health boxes, as you would get on most platforming games, that gives you 1-ups and such. And then you've got the explosive barrels, which cause damage. And each way through, there's a lot of different combos that you can go through, like this part right here, where you've got to be accurate and press A and then down. Sometimes you get them mixed up when there's a big gap in between places, and you've got to really push, get very accurate, otherwise you fall to your death, which I did quite a lot when I played this. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting game made by Sega. There's a lot of other platformers that are out of the preview. It's something that looks absolutely crisp in terms of visuals. The visuals are absolutely amazing. The colour palette that you've got, especially on the top range television or any HD screen. I mean, this is at 60 frames per second at 1080p, so you'll see the quality for yourself, but nothing beats watching it on a full-blown television. And there's no voice cast, so to speak. It's all done quietly through subtitles that are on the screen. Again, I made a mistake there. You're supposed to put the fire out, which is indicated at the back, which I didn't know. So it does help, and you do get peanuts and other things, but very carefully your health bar. One small mistake before you reach a checkpoint, and you can lose a lot of time. This is pretty much the home screen where you go to, which tells you which zones. You've got your corporal there telling you what you need to do. So you basically just go in front. You've got your targets, and you've got different things that you need to do. At the bottom left hand side there, you see a little score bar. When you defeat enemies and do objectives, you get to do that. And then what's interesting is you've got people to rescue. Now, it's not like in a predefined path as you will find in a lot of platformers, a lot of basic platformers like Sonic and Mario, where there's not much direction that you can go. But with this game, that you've got to go really exploring. There's no set time limit on the way you can complete an area, so you've got to go rooting round for these hostages and to rescue. And there's 10 in each zone, or 10 in each act rather, and you do get the highest score when you get them all, and you get a lot of achievements / trophies at the moment on Xbox One. But we're very careful on losing your lives. You only get so many. Now, there's a multitude of different enemies, and sometimes they're very hard. And I made a mistake here with the boxes because I don't think that you're affected, but you are. And it doesn't really explain that very well in the tutorial to say what to do in certain situations, which again, you don't be babysat all the way through. What is enjoyable about this game, you do have to do a lot of things yourself and learn what type of attacks to do, what not to do, and when to do them. And some of the enemies are a bit difficult. You come across tanks, you come across robots, you come across guys with these flamethrowers, as you can see. But it's definitely an interesting game. In terms of first preview, I'm not ready for the video review yet. I'm only halfway through the second zone. You know, I spent a lot of time frustrated doing this game because I kept making loads of silly mistakes because I wanted to just get through the level thinking it's a basic platformer, it's the way I like it. So this level is the very first one as you go running through, and you know, I didn't even know what I needed to do there, you know, and then you go all the way through. Brilliant when you're watching this proper on television through sound, especially through a headset if you've got one. You know, some things are pretty simple. You're supposed to uppercut there, which I didn't do first. Then you go running in, you know, and getting as high scores as you can. As you can see at the top middle, that's where the bar, when you defeat enemies or rescue hostages, that bar goes up. And then when you rescue a hostage, top right hand side, it tells you there. If you're replaying the chapter, it would be greyed out knowing that you've already got that one. You can still get them, but you know, it's tied to your score, so you don't need to really do that again. And you get combos going up as well by enemies, and this is the only real level I've come across so far where, you know, that is vital and that's what you need to do. And I think that, you know, in playing the game, it reminds me a lot of, how can I put, there's a lot of different games that are out there. You know, Rayman Legends may be one, but there's other games. That was the Curse of the Were-Rabbit, I think, that was on the PlayStation Network. You know, there's other ones. There's so many different ones, and there's a colour palette as well that's familiar and play across, you know, multiple platforms. And you know, you're really not, you know, it's a good one by Sega to do something like this. You know, not just basically child friendly. You know, there's a lot of things that are adult themed, you know, guns and what have you, that's going on, but it's definitely one that you could pick up. I mean, I'm not completed the review yet, so I'm not completed the game, but a bit of a preview. It is something that initial feeling when you first pick up the game and play through, you know, it's interesting. It really is that, you know, different dynamics. You're not going to complete the game on one playthrough unless you exactly know where all the hostages are, the high scores, and know what you're going to do. It's not something that you're going to complete straight away. However, on that basis, I don't really think it's going to be a game that's going to last you a very long time. So, you know, interesting things like this. You know, you get a strike when you knock them all over. You know, it's very clever the way that the developers, Game Freaks, have done this. So they've got experience in the forms of making games, which is quite nice. So I'm going to stay quiet for the rest of this preview. Enjoy the rest of the footage. Please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel at RetroBant. Follow me on Twitter at RetroZoid, and stay tuned for the review coming up early next week.